Hi, I here. This is a reading for the sign of Aries. We're going to do a Celtic cross spread with a Thoth deck, and what we see on the bottom of the deck is going to represent what you don't see coming. And once we get an idea of what the general message of this reading is going to be, we're going to pull 3 cards from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your subconscious and to see if there are any further clarifications we might need. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so today we are tuning in to the sign of Aries. So if that is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, or however else you choose to identify with the sign of Aries today, you can use that as a way to interpret the messages that are coming through. And if the details of this message don't seem to fit, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Do not try to force anything. And if none of the details are really seeming to fit, you can always check your other placements, or you can just stick around and see what's going on in the world of other Aries. So let us see what we get today. What things should we think about? Are there things that we should meditate upon? Are there any warnings that we need to receive? Are there things that we should look out for? Things we should perhaps try to avoid? Are there positive things that we should perhaps try to put our energy into? Things we should move towards that might make our lives a little easier or happier or just better in some way? What messages can we receive and think about today for those who are trying to tap into the energy of the sign of Aries? Okay, so let us see what we get today. What will our Celtic cross share with us? So we'll start in the present moment with the Empress. Look at that. It's beautiful. Some nice creative, nurturing energy. If there's something you are hoping to bring into the world, this is the energy that you tap into to create it. And it's not just a source that you pull from, it's nurturing. It's something that comforts you and helps you grow as well. The creative process is not just about putting something into the world, but helping yourself grow by expressing who you are or what you want to bring into your reality. So, beautiful place to start. I hope it only goes up from here. So let's see what crosses you. It's the Eight of Wands. Communication. We have Mercury and Sagittarius. Quick speed expansion of some kind of information. So perhaps there's something you want to bring into the world and you want to share it. You want people to see it, and you want people to understand it. And you want that to happen quickly. So let's see what else we get. Well, there's some nice slow speed that precedes it with the Four of Swords. And then we have the Princess of Cups that follows it. So that is really offering up some beautiful emotional energy. So maybe we're waking up and wanting to expand and spread something. So that's nice. That is not as nice. Underneath it, we have the Nine of Swords. But above it, we have the Six of Wands. So challenges, difficulties, maybe some blockages, some gates to get through. We have a Three of Wands, a Two of Wands. We have the Hermit, and beautiful ending, the Nine of Cups. So we're going somewhere good. We're starting something beautiful with the Empress, and we're ending with the Nine of Cups. That's a fantastic journey to go on. But there's definitely some difficulty here. That Nine of Swords is definitely sticking out like a sore thumb amongst all of this other beautiful energy. I'm kind of curious to see where we get to as we follow up this axis here. So that'll be interesting with the 3 into the 2 into the Hermit. It's almost like a collapsing is occurring there. Really pulling all of this energy together and solidifying it into something, and then perhaps finding some joy from that. So very different from the expansion of the Empress through the Eight of Wands. But let's just see what we have here. So, in terms of our major arcana, we have an Empress and we have a Hermit. Okay, so that's interesting. In terms of our court cards, we have just the single court card, the Princess of Cups. This is the sort of bearer of this beautiful emotional energy. She is bringing forth, look at that shell she has with her little tortoise coming out of it. Very positive energy. In the Rider Waite version of this card, we see a fish hopping out of a cup. So there's just some really nice, joyful, creative energy, being brought into the world. I see that. For me, this almost feels like what the Empress is bringing into the world, is whatever the Princess of Cups is, whether that's a person, a project, an idea. That is what she is birthing into reality, and I'm interested to see what that's going to look like over here. Still, again, we have an almost collapsing of energy that is then explodes at a nice, positive, beautiful ending with the Nine of Cups. So okay, so we have just the one court card. In terms of our other minor arcana, for Earth, we have none. No Earth. No grounding here. So this is likely something very mental, very emotional. This is not something in your practical space. This feels very creative and very sort of ethereal, almost like this sort of like pixie kind of energy kind of coming out here. I like it. Um, in terms of our other suits, for the suit of air, we have a Nine of Swords, which is definitely one of the more difficult cards, and a Four of Swords, which is rest from difficulty. It is a positive growth, but there's definitely wounds healing with the Four of Swords. So we definitely have some intense, painful mental energy on this side of things, but it's all getting better going forward. All positive from left to right, as I'm seeing it, left to right and up to down. Right, we're just getting better and better until we get to our Nine of Cups over there. So that's our air energy. In terms of the water, we have the Princess of Cups and the Nine of Cups, which is beautiful energy. And for our fire, we have Six of Wands, Eight of Wands, Three of Wands, Two of Wands. Lots of fire energy. I mean, it's Aries, right? You can't. There's going to be some fire here, but it's beautiful fire. This is all feels very positive to me. This looks really nice. Coming away from negativity, moving towards positivity. So let's just go through and see what is happening here. So we start with the Empress. As I said, that is a nice, nurturing, creative, fertile space of bringing something beautiful into the world. And with that being crossed by the Eight of Wands, I feel like there is some idea or project or something that is important to you that you really want to tap into and expand. You want it to grow. You want to communicate it. Perhaps it's some idea that you've had in your mind for some time and you've been wanting to share this with other people. So having in the recent past, having a Four of Swords there, truce, I feel like there was probably a great deal of conflict, maybe some confusion, some difficulty. I especially feel confusion with the Nine of Swords down here. There's anxiety. So perhaps you're coming off the tail end of a period of really difficult progress forward. Your thoughts are telling you all the things that you don't want to hear, and you're having to deal with those hard realities in a way that is painful, but you can't avoid it. Okay, so right here we have Mars and Gemini, so that's some really difficult mental energy to have to handle. It's a lot, it's a weight, it's chaotic, it's heavy, and that's sort of the space that we're kind of coming in from our internal space. And so with the Four of Swords, we're taking rest. We're trying to relax and recover from just how intense or powerful whatever these ideas or thoughts are that are interacting with you. And it feels like basically almost at a breaking point. When we're at the Nine of Swords, the mental energy is so heavy, it's like almost driving us insane. We're not able to think rationally. Everything just feels like a heavy burden. We have these swords that feel like they're literally hanging over our heads, just making us fearful to even move forward, because it's like if you've ever walked around under icicles on a tree, it can be a little scary when you notice that some of them are falling. And it almost makes you want to avoid that space because you never know if one of those sharp icicles is going to come and hit you, because I mean that it could kill you. It can be painful, and that's a very difficult space to be in. And so I feel with all of that intense energy sort of inside of you and hanging over your internals, and it's in your internal space. It's something that you're keeping within and likely not sharing, which makes it even more intense because it's air energy. And if you've got this like pocket of air, it's like a big bubble. Like, if you ever get indigestion, you got a big bubble in your stomach that's pushing on your heart and it's causing you heartburn, it's causing you pain. And, that pressure needs to be relieved if we're going to move into a positive space. So I don't see that pressure being removed in the recent past with the Four of Swords. I feel that as being like, let's just sit on this and kind of relax, maybe take an antacid and hope that everything just sort of calms down. And it will, but the energy doesn't go away until you really deal with it. So I feel like the Four of Swords is taking the time to prepare for the intensity of dealing with whatever this heaviness is that's coming from this Nine of Swords energy. And once you take that time to sort of reflect and deal with that intensity and kind of psych yourself up to be able to deal with it, I think that's what happens as we move from the Four of Swords into the Empress. We move from a negative place of fear and just feeling unhappy to a place of realizing that there is a soft sensitivity that we can still have within us that allows us to heal whatever these wounds are. And so then we tap into that. And once we tap into that, I think that's when the bubble pops. And I don't feel this as a negative, painful popping. This isn't a Ten of Swords popping. This is perhaps like a realization that like there's a better way to go about dealing with these difficulties rather than, an explosive, dramatic moment of this has to end now and I'm putting an end to it in a very dramatic way. It's more of a letting go of the pain and letting that sort of weight slide off of you and feeling a sort of lightness. And once that lightness is felt, that's when that Sagittarian fire from the Eight of Wands really kicks in, and you're just like, oh, I feel so much better. I feel so much happier, and I just want everyone to know this. Whatever this was, again, I don't feel like this was a we've got to fight this and put it down energy. It's a let's let go of it. And once that weight is gone, you feel light and free. And above it, we have the Six of Wands, that's victory. So again, I think that this is a moment where the Aries ram has not, tried to, ram into whatever the problem is head on, but to step back and let the problem sort of melt away. And once that has happened, then you have this whole clear path in front of you where you can just run high speed into whatever, beautiful thing you want to run towards. And that's that fiery 6 victory card of being able to move forward free and unburdened by all of this heaviness that was weighing you down before. Letting go of what's behind you and moving forward to something much more positive. So here is the sort of mental way that we're moving forward. And then there's this horizontal path that we're moving forward where we rested, we recovered, we healed, now we're expanding, and there's this creative energy, this loving force inside of you that you're ready to let go and expand and spread to the world. It's not just a fire. It's not just this wand energy. It's followed by a Princess of Cups. This, I want to bear this positive outlook that I have now. I've come out of this dark place and I want to share this positive energy with as many people as I can. So look at this awesome shell I found. It's got this beautiful turtle on it. I don't know why there's a turtle on a shell, but I just want everyone to appreciate how beautiful and crazy and bizarre but lovely this is. That's the energy you're putting forth. You don't even really have to understand the change. It's just about feeling grounded and empowered by it and wanting to push that positivity forward and let it expand as much as possible, right? You've got this glowing energy of the Six of Wands, this desire to expand and communicate it with the Eight of Wands, and you've got this Princess of Cups grounding it all in this really positive emotional space. And it's coming from the Empress energy, a really genuinely beautiful, nurturing energy. And so you want to share that. So now we're tapping back into Aries energy with fire, though. It's not just about love, right? There's passion here. You're an Aries. You've got that energy to just, that it's fire. You've got so much fire. You're ready to take off and move this forward. And I think that this, as I said, this feels like a compression almost. It's not like we are moving out and expanding in this side. This is almost more of a focus. So once I think all of this positive energy has been tapped into, now we want to take our 3 to our 2 to our Hermit, and almost once we've shared all this positive energy, I feel like there's a part of you that needs to still take some of that passion into yourself and not just realize that you've made progress by letting go of things, but continuing that progress by continuing to look inward and continuing to do the maintenance to make sure that you don't end up back in the space that you were in before. Because you can just fall right back into the same cycle of I'm free, and then you start picking up weights and one more thing on your back, another thing on your back. Next thing you know, you're being held back down again. There's no Ten of Wands here. There's a Nine of Swords, and we're getting away with it, away from it, not away with it. Interesting. Um, we are moving forward, and I think that this collapsing into the Hermit is you realizing that, or needing to realize that in order to stay in this positive space of growth, it still requires you to constantly be looking and doing the maintenance on your internal life. So this is the energy you're in, the expansive, powerful Three of Wands energy of just feeling like amazing, victorious, and wanting to create and project all of this positive, powerful energy forward and let it be something bigger than yourself. Not just tapping into this fire energy, but wanting to expand it forward into your environment. And so we then move into the domain, the Two of Wands, which is in the placement of your environment and your relationships. And as I said, there's a bit of a collapsing here. That collapsing, I think, is again continuing to focus more on yourself, but also realizing that, like, I want to emphasize this word of domain. You know, what is the sort of space in which you want this energy to be experienced? And yeah, we want everyone around us to be able to feel it, but again, I feel like you have to not forget that part of your domain is your inside as well. For all of the beautiful things that you share outwardly and give to other people, there's a whole reflection of that within you that is just as big, if not bigger, than the world that is outside of you. And so if you're only doing the work on the outside and ignoring the inside, then those weights are still going to come and grow from the inside, and you're still going to get that heaviness that's not going to go away unless you deal with it. So I think I almost want to emphasize the two here is this duality between your inside and your outside. This powerful energy, like you want to move forward. Like you said, you got this image of the ram just running full speed forward and trying to, just feeling as free as possible and wanting to share that positive, powerful energy, but realizing that that has to be reflected inwardly as well. If we want to move freely in our lives, we have to move freely within our mental, internal space. And so do not neglect your relationships to your environment towards you, not just you towards the environment. That goes both ways. Focus on your inward space as well. And that's why the challenge is the Hermit. Again, there's this collapsing. Also, I want to note there's some Aries energy here. Going into the Hermit is what our challenge is. Pulling all of that energy inside of us and trying to focus that star within us. Really doing that internal work, taking time alone to really make sure you understand your own strength and your own power. Don't neglect sharing all of this positive growth with other people. If you're making progress, let other people know that. More positivity in the world, always good. As long as it's genuine, always put good positive energy into the world. But also put that positive energy within inside yourself so that you can continue to have a source of fuel for this positive growth that'll help you share and help other people. And if you do that work on your inside as well, again, you're letting go of things from your past, negative things that are holding you back. Continue to do that work on your inside, and it will lead you towards this happiness that you're looking for. A positive win will make you feel good, but it will only be a short-term win if you are not continuing to do the work on yourself. And I think that's the important thing to remember here, is that I think this is a story of a breakthrough, a very positive breakthrough of letting go of anxieties and getting a realistic view of what is important. But we have to make sure that we don't forget that going forward and fall right back into the same cycle again. The Hermit needs to take time to reflect upon himself so that he can be the source of positive growth if he wants to move forward into this Nine of Cups energy. So I think you're going to. You've got the energy of, I want to do this, I'm ready to go. Just make sure that you don't lose sight of what got you into the problem in the first place. Again, I emphasize, don't repeat bad habits. Okay? So let's see what you don't see coming. It's the Queen of Swords. It's more air energy. As I said, you need to be paying attention to your internal life. The Queen of Swords is going to show you what you need to see. She wants you to grow. She wants to help nurture you. She wants positive expansion forward, but she's not going to mince words. If there are things inside of you that you need to deal with, or there are things that you need to see, or even if there's problems outside of you and you need to pay attention to your relationship to those things, the Queen of Swords is that energy of having to continue that reflection. We don't want it to be Nine of Swords energy where it just feels like heavy, heavy weight that's like so oppressive that we can't move forward from it. Right here, look at this. It looks like we're in some kind of dungeon here. Everything's dark and unpleasant. It's just not a happy place to be. Where the Queen of Swords is up in the clouds. There's some jagged shapes here. There's some difficulties here, but it's still she's trying to help you expand and move forward. Right, her sword is pointed downward to try and help you come to the same kind of realizations you have with the Nine of Swords, but in a constructive, productive way. And as long as you continue to do this work, I mean, to me, this is like the energy of trying to work out. When you're lifting weights or you're riding on an exercise bike or whatever routine you do, it's exhausting. It's to some degree painful. You're pushing your body to its limits, its extremes in a way that is putting stress on it. But you're doing it in a constructive way that's helping you grow and progress forward. It's positive growth. It's like it's positive pain. It's pushing things so that they have room to get better and bigger. And that takes work. It's not always pleasant. Uh, I personally struggle a lot of times trying to keep with any kind of like exercise routine because it's exhausting. It really wears you out. But if you stick with that, that's what gives you that extra energy to keep expanding and growing forward. Not to mention, there's that amazing, endorphin rush you get once you've gotten through that experience. That's what the Nine of Cups is taking all of this positive energy, pulling it inside and reflecting, doing the mental work to make sure that we're still refueling our cups so that we don't end up back in this negative space again. And as long as we do that, we'll be able to maintain this joy, this happy Nine of Cups sort of energy we want to stay in. So that's fantastic. So, all right, let's see what the shadow deck has for us today. Let's see what's going on in your subconscious. I wonder if we'll get any earth energy here, because again, there's not a single ounce of earth energy happening here. So let's see what we got. Yeah, we got a little earth with the Hermit there, I guess, but we don't have any true, purely earth energy here. I would like to see what we're focusing on, perhaps, in our mind. What are we thinking about? Are we trying to grow? Stability? What are we looking at here? Oh, almost lost the cards there. Maybe a little instability in your mind. Don't fall into Nine of Swords. All right. Feels right. Four of Cups, Queen of Spheres, there it is, and the Ace of Cups. So more water energy. I think, so this feels very much, like I said, it's like a breakthrough moment. So the energy is very, very active. We have the Eight of Wands. Feels like quick movement forward. We've made a breakthrough. We want to keep going forward. But we're progressing into this emotional energy with the Nine of Cups and the Princess of Cups. I think the Four of Cups is you trying to get a little bit of control over that. We want things to sort of stay calm. Okay, hear me out here. We have a Four of Cups and we have an Ace of Cups. We put those together, we have a Five of Cups. And we don't want a Five of Cups. A Five of Cups is a broken cup. It's a spilled cup. It's a cup of loss. And I think you're in this space where you're feeling very invigorated and very passionate and excited and happy. And I think there is a little bit of lingering fear that this is all going to fall apart again. And that's kind of the message, is don't let it fall apart. If you're making positive steps forward, keep making positive steps forward. Keep making growth. Do the work to maintain whatever positive place you have found. So we want to keep these apart, which is not to say that we want to like partition our emotions or anything like that. I'm just saying it's symbolic of the fact that we have all the pieces available to us to fall into a Five of Cups moment and to repeat a bad cycle, and we don't want to do that. So what's keeping the four and the ace apart to prevent them from being a five is the Queen of Spheres, a very practical, grounded woman who is, I mean, doesn't have to be gender specific, but it's this divine feminine energy of practicality and having a sense of wanting to help other people grow. Someone who is very much able to appreciate the fruits of their labor. They don't just work to get work done, they work to enjoy themselves, and they look back and learn lessons from the things that have worked and have not worked and share them with those that follow so that they can also grow and expand with her. Right? I get this image of like this nice gigantic tree that like nurtures all the things that are growing underneath it. This big powerful positive energy that helps other people grow. And that's the energy that's here in between your four and your ace that's helping you keep away from moving into a Five of Cups. To prevent us from falling back into habits, negative emotional thinking, just things that are going to make us feel unfulfilled, there's going to have to be a certain practical element to it. And again, there's no earth energy except for this one card here, so that's that needing to get grounded. Victories are great, enjoy your victories, but don't lose sight of the fact that there's still always work to be done. Even when you're enjoying yourself, you're always looking from the back towards the front to figure out what have I done and where am I trying to go. Stay in the present, stay in the middle, enjoy that experience, but don't lose sight of the fact that you need to always be sort of looking around you and within you to understand how to maintain this positive place that you've found. So there's this stability we want to maintain, and we want to have growth, but we don't want that growth to be pushing us in a place that's going to be a negative direction. We want to learn from what we've seen in the past. Take the thoughts that are and the feelings that may be difficult to handle and do the work of really paying attention to them so that you can grow this more positive emotional space inside of you. And what you don't see coming from the shadow deck is the Eight of Spheres, work. That is putting in the work, and it's in the shadow deck. This is in the mental space. This is doing the dirty work, the details of really checking the things that you think and feel. But since this is in the shadow deck, I'm perceiving this as this is earth energy, but it still, to me, it feels very much like it's telling you to do the work on the way you think about things. Right? This is not worrying about crazy chaotic thoughts floating around in your mind. This is trying to get a grounded perspective on those things that are inside of you, those feelings, those thoughts, pulling them to a nice grounded place where they're in control. You're feeling them, you're open to things. You have Ace of Cups energy, you're stable, you have Four of Cups energy, but doing the work to make sure that we stay in this nice grounded positive space and don't fall back into bad habits. So fantastic reading. I hope you find this while you are in this positive place of expansion and growth, and that you learn from past things so you don't fall back into whatever it is that you're getting away from. I love it. So that's all I have for you today. As always, if there are other messages or different messages that came through these cards as I was reading, or any comments that I made that reached you in a specific way, let your intuition guide you in terms of finding the messages you need to find from this experience. I'm just here to help guide and facilitate this process, but the messages are for you to receive as you need to receive them. So please use your own intuition. But I hope this was helpful. I hope that this was possibly even enjoyable. But whatever this needed to be for you, I hope you got what you needed from it. And so as always, please like and subscribe. If you have any comments or feedback or things you would just like to share, please leave a comment below. I love to hear comments from people. And if there's anyone you know that might benefit from this or any of my other videos, please feel free to share them. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.